Plunge your hands into a mound of wet, heavy clay. Feel the grit, the weight of the water binding the earth together, and the heat radiating from a wood-fired masonry stove. That immediate physical feedback, the friction of soil and fire, is the environment our nervous systems were designed to navigate. Most modern lives lack this physical tether. Ecopsychologists define the resulting distress as earth misery. It is a specific psychological and spiritual malaise, born from our total severance from the natural world, leaving us isolated in a world of human constructs. This hand-drawn flowchart maps the sprawling, linear extraction process required for an industrial cup of tea. From deep-sea oil rigs to heavy transport emissions, every step is a one-way street ending in a landfill. Our reliance on these invisible extractive webs is the primary source of our modern isolation. This diagram shows the same cup of tea produced through permaculture. Here, the process is a localized circular loop. The sun and rain grow the herbs, human hands harvest them, and the used leaves go right back into the earth as compost. The outputs of one stage become the inputs for the next, leaving zero external waste. Transitioning to a localized permaculture loop shifts the human role from a passive consumer to an active participant in an ecosystem. This shift addresses the psychological root of our isolation, treating the connection to the land as a requirement for mental stability rather than a hobby. That recovery process is currently unfolding in the Transylvanian village of Șomartin, Romania, inside the walls of a 200-year-old Saxon house. The property carries the weight of 20th century trauma. During the era of forced collectivization, the state converted this home into a cooperative of the craftsmen. It was a system that reduced human labor to a state-controlled metric, further severing the villagers' personal connection to their work and their land. Today, a resident named Corey and a small collective are using the 12 Principles of Permaculture to design a different kind of society. They began their work at Zone Zero, the design term for the physical home and the inner mind of the practitioner. Redesigning a physical living space to mimic a natural ecosystem alters the daily habits of the people who inhabit it. As the home begins to recycle its own nutrients and energy, the human mind follows suit, shedding the stress of extractive systems for the stability of a closed loop. Outside the hearth lies Zone 1, the immediate yard. Here, residents practice the Green Wave 54 senses. This framework argues that humans possess far more than 5 senses, including an awareness of electromagnetic fields, weather changes, and the rhythmic cycles of the earth. Applying Principle 1, observe and interact, transforms daily labor into a moving meditation. A resident harvesting kale or carving oak uses their full sensory spectrum to monitor the moisture of the soil or the resistance of the wood grain, anchoring their mind in the immediate physical environment. In Zone 2, the barn and brewery operate under Principle 6, produce no waste. Spent grain from the beer vats feeds the chickens, who in turn provide eggs and fertilizer for the garden. Every byproduct is captured and diverted back into the system. These yields feed the village's grand swap. Instead of a competitive market, locals gather to trade homegrown goods and skills directly. A jar of Elena's amber jam traded for Antonio's distilled gin, or a basket of Iris's carrots. This is Principle 8, integrate rather than segregate in practice. By trading directly, the 250 villagers weave themselves into a single, resilient social fabric, where a neighbor's success is tied to the health of the entire community. By strictly applying the 3 permaculture ethics, earth care, people care, and fair share, a community can replace hyper-individualism with regenerative mutual reliance. They build a system where plenty is defined by the strength of the collective web. In Zone 3, the 40-acre agricultural patch, the residents faced their most difficult challenge, land that was dead, slick, and unworkable clay. They followed Principle 9, use small and slow solutions. Instead of blasting the land with synthetic chemicals for a one-off crop, they committed to a multi-year biological timeline to restore the soil's natural structure. They used humus, compost, and worm castings to feed the ground. Over seasons, earthworms returned, their tunnels creating pathways for water and air. microscopic fungi began to knit the soil back together, restoring the dark, breathing structure necessary for life. The slow, painstaking restoration of this microscopic soil biology serves as the blueprint for regenerating a fractured human community. Both require a refusal to accept quick fixes in favor of deep, systemic healing. Arriving at Zone 4, we encounter Șomartin No. 5, a ruin with cracked Saxon walls, currently awaiting its new roof and restoration. In an industrial economy, a collapsed building is a liability. But under Principle 12, use and respond to change, the ruin is a stage in an ecological succession. It provides habitat for birds today and structural material for the community tomorrow, turning decay into a resource. Finally, Zone 5 represents the unmanaged wild. This is the surrounding Carpathian wilderness, an untouched landscape that operates entirely on its own ancient, non-human logic. This wildness informs the spiritual philosophy of the Earthway. It blends Zen mindfulness, the core Catholic virtues, and the Lakota concept of mitakuye oyasin, the recognition that we are all related, from the soil to the stars. The goal is to become an Earth avatar, a person who lives in harmony with these natural systems and guides others to do the same. They act as a conscious bridge between the noise of modern constructs and the ancient rhythms of the Earth. Curing Earth misery is not a geographic problem solved by moving to a remote village. It is a design challenge. By applying these 12 permaculture principles to the specific zones of our own lives, our homes, our communities, and our wild spaces, we can begin the slow, difficult work of re-knitting ourselves back into the natural world.